my goodness. Wow. Can I just say hi to everybody, but also I just want to recognize that setting up a live stream can be, wow, when you're by yourself, like I am, can be a bit challenging if I don't have my husband Luke here, who is not here, obviously. It's just me, but I think he's watching, and I thought I'd go on early. Anyway, Luke and I did a test stream beforehand because I have 3 cameras set up and I was able to upload some video footage that I want to show you. This is a new feature that now that I go live, I can actually pull some past videos, if that makes sense, or excerpts that I want to share with you. Oh, okay, Sally's here, hooray! Thank Sally. So, and I'm not mic'd up properly. I'm actually using the Mevo mics because that was just one step too far. If you could just see behind me, it was like, anyway, I'm actually really proud of myself. So look at all of these Alberta Research Project of virtual volunteers and friends, of course, signing in as well. Laura's here. Wow. I'm going to say hi to a lot of you who are tuning in. Do let everybody know where you're tuning in from. I think that's so much fun. I was doing a Zoom lecture last night for the British Association of Local History, and there were about 100 people on, and it was just really fun for me to see where they were tuning in from. And I thought that many of them, and the talk was on Alberta, I should preface that. It was on Alberta, and I've done this presentation in the past, and I think many of you have a similar presentation if you've signed on to one of my Zooms in the past. You've at least listened to it before. But it was fun to see their locations, and so many were from the UK, which usually it surprised me because, as we can see here, on YouTube it's completely different, and lots of you from the USA. So Luke has just sent me a screenshot. He says I should point the main camera down a bit more, but I'm just gonna be having like this. Look, I've got 3 cameras, everybody. I've got this one, so I can wave to you there. I set all of that up. And then I have just like a far-reaching wide shot. That one's there as well. I'm just super proud of myself. And then this is the one that Luke thinks that I should point the camera down a bit more. I mean, I can do, if nobody minds, 1 second. I'll just get up and point it down a smidgen. There we go, that's probably enough. Hope I didn't overdo it. Anyway, talks amongst yourself. Oh yeah, okay, I think that's better. He was definitely right. Yeah, that's much better. Probably even more, but it's fine. Anyway, hi everybody, it's so fun going live. I feel like I can go live a little bit more because I'm at Mapperton quite a bit more. So I'm not filming for American Viscountess, which I'm going to give you an update on. So when I'm not filming, I'm more here at Mapperton working on projects. I'm going to tell you about one of those projects tonight. I've got a whole list of things to go through, but I want many more to join on. So I know lots of people coming through. Yeah, it's cold where you are as well. Everybody is writing cold, freezing, cold, freezing. And in fact, I'm going to admit something. When I did a test stream about 30 minutes ago with Luke, he said to me, "What is all that noise?" And I said, "Oh, I have a heater on." So I have a little, but I turned it off because it's making too much noise. And you might be thinking, why would you have a heater on if you have a lovely warm Aga behind you? And it's a fair question. It's a very fair question. But as we know, I'm always cold. And in fact, I don't have my fingerless gloves. I've popped them off somewhere and I don't see them. But as most of you know, I always wear fingerless gloves. And so I must have taken them off getting ready for this. Anyway, I have my hat on, so that's fine as well. So yes, so I've turned the heater off, the Aga is there, but I'm still always cold. Anyway, happy Wednesday. Thank you for all of you who are joining me from all around the world, which you are, and I know especially for those of you in America, it's 5 hours earlier than it is here, 7:15 at night in the UK. It's 6 hours, 7 hours, and even 8 hours. And I love this weather. You are all becoming English because you're talking about the weather. because as many of you know who visit the UK, that is what people tend to talk about, me now included in that group, because it's just cold here. And actually it is really, really cold right now. I love, Carol's just written, watching from Ohio. Last night we were 5 degrees warmer than Antarctica. My goodness. Oh, good. Penny's bought fingerless gloves in Lincoln for my inspiration. That's so nice. I can't believe it. I'm looking for them now, but I think I might have left them upstairs. No. Anyway, I do want to shout out really quickly about my fingerless gloves before I start to chat a little bit more about what's going on with the tapestry, my dissertation. It's been submitted, but a little update there. And my next big project besides the tapestry is somebody sent me 3 pairs of cashmere gloves that a friend of hers made from recyclable, upcycled cashmere jumpers. So she went to charity shops, found cashmere, bought cashmere jumpers, and then makes fingerless gloves out of them. And somebody kindly from America, I think it was from Texas, sent me 3 pairs, but there was no address on there, and nor was there an email address, so I can't, a return address, so I can't write back. So if that was you, can you please just send a message here or send a message in my DMs? That's probably better. Instagram DMs. Send it through there and just say that was me, because I really want to say thank you. And in fact, I was wearing a pair of those, the gray ones, and she put little sort of decorative buttons on them as well. Just like small, and they're beautiful, just small little ones, not something that's sort of too embellished. I love them. You sent me a yellow pair, an orange pair, and a gray pair, and they're lovely. And I know your friend made them, and I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, shall we get started on the exciting news of the tapestry? So I'm going to play a little video because I learned how to do this. Oh my gosh, which is so exciting. I'm going to back it up 1 second. So I'm going to play a little video, and I want to just show you the tapestry. The tapestry that we are working to repair, conserve, restore, all those lovely words, with Emma Telford, who is, you know, the person to go to, and who is lovely. So if you haven't watched that Mapperton live video with Emma and I going around looking at the tapestries, please do. I love that, Katie. Watching while she does her history GCSE coursework. Fantastic. So I'm just going to play a little video of the tapestry that we're in the process of raising funds for, and then I'm going to talk a little bit more about the tapestry itself. So here we go. And I can talk you through this. It's going to come on. So the tapestry we're looking at is now currently hanging in the West Room, which is one of the rooms in the house that will, that is my, technically challenged right now. The tapestry that we're looking at is the Peacock tapestry. And you can see it's in just a dire strait and a need of repair. And I did some close-ups for you guys to be able to see this up close and personal, because I wasn't sure how much you could see. But there's the boy riding a fish on the fountain there. And you can see that. And hopefully you can get some of the close-ups there.
Thank you to everybody who has donated.
It's actually much worse in person.
18th century tapestry.
Back to me. And pull up just Emma's report, which I think is really important to kind of talk you guys through that. So let me just pull that up. I'm just pulling up documents. I have so many things open. Luke is online. He'd be like, my wife always has a gazillion things open. And yes, I'm afraid, everybody, that is true. I constantly do have things open. So for some reason, my mail is being a bit strange, and that is the one thing I really wanted to open up, which is a bit strange. Anyway, Peacock Tapestry, I'm gonna go to buy me a coffee. Yes. It is because I'm not wearing a mic, but hopefully I am projecting loud enough for you to hear me. So the amazing thing on Buy Me a Coffee, you guys are awesome. I mean, there aren't even words to describe how amazing you are. We have already raised 35% of the 25,000 goal. And I know, listen, absolutely, it's quite a steep price. We've raised almost $9,000. It's quite a steep price for the tapestry to be restored, but we have to understand, and at least I had to get my head around it, was that it is in such bad condition. You do consider the possibility of just buying a whole new tapestry outright and just saying, right, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy a whole new tapestry. But for me, it wouldn't have that same sentimental and emotional and familial connection. And that is the point of restoring these tapestries, is because they have been in the family and it's history. And I guess the other story around that is, let's just say I decided to, do you know what, I'm going to take the tapestries down and just store them, and somebody 100 years from now can do something with them, and I'll just buy some new tapestries. I don't know, but to me, that's not a story. That's just me going out and purchasing a new tapestry, which I'm sure, by the way, would be lovely. But this now has a story, and I think that's the most important part of this journey, is that the tapestries have been in the family, we know, since the 18th century. And they were cut up probably by the Victorians. I have been able to find in the inventory books here in the Monument Room listing of a room called the Tapestry Room. I'll be filming that for Mapperton Live. So it is literally called the Tapestry Room. And they describe, not so much, I don't know if they're these tapestries, but they say that there are 3 tapestries hanging. So that's really interesting that we're able to find that. I do know that there were other tapestries hanging in Hinchingbrook before the fire of 1830, and that those tapestries probably didn't make it because they were in the room, one of the rooms that was burned. Now I can't be 100% positive on that, but I do know that there were tapestries hanging during the time of Uncle Hinch, who was the 8th Earl, in the Tapestry Room. And this is an inventory book from 1884. So he would have had that done probably right when he, I think 1884 was right around the time that the 8th Earl became the 8th Earl. I think that's when the 7th Earl died. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure. So then there's the story of this whole process of people watching back these videos here live on American Viscountess, and the videos that we've been creating on Mapperton Live, and watching the entire journey unfold step by step, and the support that you guys are all so generously donating, whether that's just watching the ads, that really helps through these lives, because the ad revenue from these live videos goes towards the tapestry restoration, or if you're donating through Buy Me a Coffee. And then it's going to be the whole journey of, and I'm confident that we will raise the funds of watching Emma and filming Emma really properly, because she does them properly, repair this tapestry, the Peacock Tapestry. And she's going to put a lovely blue border around it as well. And then, of course, it's the filming of that. And then it's the hanging and the unveiling. And I have changed my mind. It's going to go into the hall, is my plan, into the hall. And then the plaque, for those of you who donate a certain amount or above. And so I wanted to get on here and just explain that, this tapestry means a lot to me. It's one of probably the biggest project here at Mapperton as far as the interiors go. that I've been wanting to restore. And I try to do as much of, many of you know, the preventative conservation I can myself, but as far as tapestries goes, that is not going to happen. Is the sound working? Yeah, I think so. Can everybody comment down below? Simon's saying he's having a hard time, but on my end, it's working. So hopefully it is. Simon, maybe check your settings there. Sound is all good. So anyway, I'm going to put it in, I'm going to talk to you again a little bit more. I'm going to put a video up. That's what it's going to be. So this is the video that I created today to get you all very, very excited. Here we go.
Boy.
And I have to be quiet on this.
We have raised nearly 40% of our fundraising goal. So I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody. And we're nearly there. Once we raise the funds, ta-da, here I am. Once we raise the funds, you will be able to watch this tapestry go from what it is today, which is kind of 300 years of neglect, to something really special and spectacular. So do consider buying a cup of coffee for the Peacock, and all details are here in the YouTube description, buymeacoffee.com/Julie J. Montague. Thank you all so, so much.
Okay, so this, wow, I'm actually really proud of myself because I've technically made that happen, which I'm just thrilled about. I was able to do that. So those of you who are new about the tapestries, I'm obviously just thrilled that I've just made all this happen. There were kind of 5 different tapestries. So there's the dining room tapestry, which has been taken down. It was kind of like the star collection of the tapestries, if you like. It was a vibrant hunt scene with dogs chasing a fox. I know that sounds a bit gruesome, but that's, you know, it's a typical tapestry sort of scene, if you like. And the border was rich with colors of blues and greens and reds and yellows. But it's been altered quite a bit. That was the big one in the dining room, cut into like 10 different pieces, 13 border fragments, and wow. But it adds to the character. Then in the West Room, there's another big piece. Again, it has a lot in common with the dining room tapestry. It has a lovely border, but again, it's been borrowed. It has begged, borrowed, and stolen from other tapestries. And then there are 2 other tapestries that look like they're one, and I call them West Room Tapestry 2A and 2B. They're not joined together. And again, those include scenes very similar to the ones in the dining room. So they have the watermill, they've got the scenes from a fox hunt. And to kind of put all 4 of those tapestries together, because Emma has a radical idea of basically creating one big tapestry about 5 meters long, using the border from one of them and the scene from another one. She can kind of match it up to make one big one. The cost of that is extensive. I mean, it's extraordinarily high, and it's something that I will look at some grants for. But in order to prove the concept that, you know, this can work and we can make these tapestries beautiful, I decided to start with the Peacock tapestry, also because I think it's beautiful. I love it that it has the peacock in there in the foreground. It also, and it's a proud peacock as well, kind of looking back, as you saw from that video. And then it also has a boy on a fish in a fountain. Let's change here, go to there, which is fantastic. So I like the details around it, but again, it's had some wear and tear, and thus the need to raise the funds. Then the last tapestry, which I actually just found in kind of a drawer one day, is the Apollo and Daphne tapestry. We're not sure where that comes from, but it's basically the classic myth of Daphne Apollo chasing Daphne right before she sort of is transforming into a laurel tree. It's full of drama and it has beautiful details. You can see like Apollo's sunbeams, and I'm trying to think what else. And you can see his bow, but it's been altered. But again, that's something I would probably do as a separate project, like what we're doing with the Peacock Tapestry, not necessarily the big one, which I just mentioned. So I'm just changing, here we go. I just like changing my cameras to say that I've done it, which is brilliant. And as far as the family ties to the tapestries, like I said, I was able to find in the inventory book, 1884, that tapestries were hung in the tapestry room. And that's actually the only mention of the tapestries. I went through the entire inventory in like the grand rooms, like the state room, the bow room, the oak room, and there's other, obviously Hinchingbrook was huge, and there weren't any other mentions of tapestries in any of these other rooms, and they literally listed, you know, all of the pictures in there, and also like even the ink pots. So the tapestries would have been mentioned. So yes, I'm going to go back to Face On. So I'm going to put the link here. In fact, it'll be easier if I just like do this. Share the page, copy link. It's so much easier just to do that. I'll put that there. Now, because of your support on Buy Me a Coffee, there's amazing kind of thank yous from, you know, a certificate saying I helped make it happen, to postcards of the finished product, to a limited edition print, and also to, which I think is pretty incredible, I was in contact with Debs, one of the head tutor, the head tutor at the Royal School of Needlework based at Hampton Court Palace, and she has created an embroidery kit of the Peacock. If you want to find out more on that embroidery kit and what it would look like as a finished product, head to Buy Me a Coffee, look at the posts there, because I'm updating weekly about the tapestry. I'm updating with photos, I'm updating with text, with where we are as far as donations, and you can see what the final product is going to look like. And your kits are amazing. And the kits they come in this box, they have all of the threads, they have instructions, they have the piece of material that you'll need. I mean, it's quite a good size peacock. And the reason I decided to kind of go this route was when Debs was here for the Royal School of Needlework embroidery course, using one of our Jacobean, our only one, a motif from the Jacobean apron that we have here at Mapperton last September. I thought this would be a fantastic idea, and I joined into that workshop and I had so much fun. And by the way, we are doing that workshop again here at Mapperton, April 25th with the Royal School of Needlework, and it's all sold out. So that is very, very exciting that it's all sold out. But Debs is amazing, and she created these kits. So if you're interested in Buy Me a Coffee, do check it out. So somebody just asked if Buy Me a Coffee is like a Patreon. You can actually do a monthly membership if you want to there, because I'm always fundraising for a bigger project. Somebody just did that. I didn't even know that existed. So I want to say thank you to Tiffany, who did a monthly amount, which is fantastic through Buy Me a Coffee. But that was really kind. But no, usually it's just a one-off, buy up some coffees and support the project. And you'll get exclusive posts from me as well. And obviously you'll see the entire journey unfold. So that's very, very exciting. Again, I just want to say a huge thank you to all of you who have already donated. I have replied to every single donation through, when you scroll through Buy Me a Coffee, you will see that I've replied because I think that that's really, really important. So that is, I'm going to park the tapestry project right now. Do check out Buy Me a Coffee. It's also in the description here on this YouTube live. So you'll see like the description down below, and then you can head to Buy Me a Coffee and you can find out more about it, which is brilliant. And yeah, I'm as Heather's just mentioned, I mean, to watch Emma, I've given also in one of the posts some of the before and afters of Emma's work. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, it's like night and day, her work, which is pretty, it's pretty incredible. So I thought I would also get on and show you this, not that, but this. This is my dissertation. And a little update on that. So because people have asked me, like, you know, what's happening with it. It's fair point, really fair point. Now, what's happened with that is that, and I only just found this out about a week ago, my course tutor contacted me to say that there's been a delay because of Brexit. Seriously, I can't make this up. So the examiner lives in Ireland and needed to fill out paperwork because we're not part of the EU anymore. And something happened with like the paperwork not getting processed, or, you know, a boring story like that. So it's just red tape paperwork, but now everything has been solved. And so, yeah, it's being read now. That's my update on my dissertation. So if you never hear from me again about my dissertation, it means I didn't pass. So hopefully I'm going to be coming back on here live sooner rather than later with some very good news that I have a master's in country house studies. Fingers crossed. Yes, Bethany, do check out on Buy Me a Coffee. There are some befores and afters of her work. I mean, it's sensational, absolutely sensational. Okay, then I also wanted to discuss, which you're going to see on an upcoming Mapperton Live video. I've been filming it over the past 2 days. And one thing I do want to mention is, you know, we love filming, but I realized, I was like, oh my gosh, filming, it requires, like, if you're wanting to do anything, it takes twice as long to do that something because you're having to set up your cameras and you're having to set up your mics and all of that stuff. So, but I've been able to get some really good footage. So about a week ago, I went down into the cellar to find the stain, the wood stain that I'm using on the timber floors at the Coatley farmhouse, which is a 4-bedroom cottage or farmhouse, 4-bedroom farmhouse here on the estate that I'm in the middle of renovating. And so I needed to go over and test what stain I wanted to use on these beautiful timber floors. And when I went downstairs, that's where I keep all of our paints and everything. When I went down into the cellar, I was choosing the color, the stains, and I saw the back of, you know, that size, wide, and that height, sort of interesting backing of paper. You know, it looked like it was block printed paper. And I was like, what is this? So but it was in bad shape, but I couldn't see the inside. So I took these screens out and opened them up, and lo and behold, what I thought at first, they were Japanese screens, beautiful, you know, the Japanese, the Koreans make the highest quality paper. And so they were probably on some form of like mulberry paper or something. And with silk, sensational. So the backing is all like Korean, well, I found it later it's Korean, but at first I thought it was Japanese. Writing, paper, beautiful, just beautiful backing. And then then it was covered with hand painted, but it looked like block printing, painted because it's raised paper on top of that. I mean, it was extraordinary. The craftsmanship of these screens are just astounding, but they were clearly in the strong room, must have been in some corner that nobody knew about for decades, and then brought down when we were cleaning out the strong room, which is a storage area in the estate office, cleaning it out and putting things down in the cellar. Nobody really, you know, they just sort of took it, nobody opened it up, stuck it in there. And luckily I came across them. Now, what's been sensational, hear me out about this, I'm giving it all away, is that the provenance of these, because I asked around, my mother-in-law says she's never seen them, nobody knew. And I just had this niggle that, you know, well, I always have a niggle. I'm like, oh, could it be Alberta's? I think kind of everything. I'm like, could that be Alberta's? Because with Alberta, the American heiress that was the subject of my master's, but I don't have any of her chattels or, we've got the McAvoy painting, of course, but something that I feel that I could really have a connection with her outside of those letters, that I knew that she traveled to bring that back or she found that somewhere. Do you know what I mean? Like that type of connection. So my niggle was like, please let it be Alberta. So my niggle was, please could it have a connection with Alberta? And I had remembered looking through some of the box files whereby she had written down her furniture that she inherited from her mother, but also her furniture that she must have found on her travels that had been placed in different rooms at Hinchingbrook. So the blue room, the state room, the library, the entrance hall. And it's 6 pages long. And I thought I must find this document. And it's all handwritten. I luckily had marked down what box file it was, which we haven't transcribed yet, transcribers, if you're wondering. I had just found it, but luckily, when I find something important, I just write it down, even if we're not working on that box file. So I went to box file number 91, and I opened it up. And it was scanned today. I did ask Daryl, who helps me with scanning, to scan that today. And on there, I couldn't believe it. I actually cried, you guys, 2 nights ago. True story, Luke knows this. Because it was written, it said, Alberta furniture at Hinchingbrook that is owned by Alberta Sandwich. And she writes 3 times Korean screens. Oh my goodness, I nearly fell off my perch. So from that, I thought I've got to do even a little bit more research. So I reached out to the Alberta Research Project Virtual Volunteers, and they were fantastic. And I was like, did she travel to Korea? Because I can't remember. I knew she went to the Far East. I knew she definitely went to Japan, came back, letters came back. She's in Seoul, and they're visiting artists, and they're, George comments in one of his letters that we went to go see one of the, most famous artists right now, and seeing some of the screens that he was painting. So then, and in fact, I meant to Google this beforehand. Somebody can do it for me now. So today, so I'm thinking they're Korean screens, right? And they're from Alberta's collection. And and this letter that was written on their travels was 1910, okay? So today, I contacted a paper restorer in Bridport near here, and 15 minutes from here, and asked if she could come and just visit. Hold on, I have to text Luke something. Here we go. There we go. Asked if she could come and look at the screens. And I'm going to tell you what happened even though I'm filming it. Okay. She was amazing. She spent 2 hours with me today teaching me how I can actually sort of conserve the screens on a level that I can do and is going to be good enough. Spent 2 hours. I was actually doing some of the conservation work myself. She was talking me through it. She said, you can email me anytime. She's like, Julie, you can do this. She went into the Needlework room. I showed her the supplies that I have. So I want to thank you all, because through Buy Me a Coffee, a previous fundraiser that we did was about getting some good archive supplies. She was totally impressed with the archive supplies that I have. She's like, you have everything here. And I now am going to be single-handedly conserving their 3 pairs, that doesn't make sense. There are 3 screens, each of them are a pair. So I should say 3 pairs. It's been a long night. 3 pairs, 6 screens in total. And she's like, I trust you. You can do this. Have confidence in yourself. She was amazing, everybody. Her name is Charlotte. I just want to say, Charlotte, if you're watching this, just a huge, huge thank you. We did a little patch of the gold and ourselves, and it's amazing. It's like night and day to the dirt that was on the gold, the gold next to it. So that was beyond exciting. The thing I probably will have to have her help with is once I finish conserving all of the screens, which is going to take me time. I'm going to try to do an hour a day when I'm at Mapperton. That's my plan, an hour a day. Is the back of the screens, I'm going to need her help. You'll see them in an upcoming Mapperton Live video. The back of the screens, I don't have those skills, and she does. And we've got a plan with the back of the screens. But first, I need to, it's my first big, Bethany, you're right, big conservation project. I mean, I've repaired some paper with the Japanese paper. I've done some bookbinding, but this is proper. And I'm going to be using, let me pull up my notes. I had to write it all down today. I was just beyond excited. Okay, so I'm going to be using methocellulose, and with that, I'm going to be using this kind of long, thin paint brush. I can't remember what they're called, but they've got and so I'll be able to get inside, because there's so many cracks, piece that together, and then putting this what's it called? Bondina paper over it. And then you're using a conservation tool that's like a very low temperature iron. I know that scares people, but you've got the Bondina. Oh my gosh, my head tonight. It's Bondina, but okay, somebody help me out here. It's Bondina. How do you pronounce that? I'm having a moment. I think we all can relate to that. And Bondina paper, is that right? Anyway, and then I'll do a little iron over that. Then on low. Then she taught me how to make wheat starch today. So 200 milliliters water for 50 grams of wheat starch, and I know how to make my methocellulose, by the way. So which is brilliant. And this was the kicker, everybody. You're not going to believe this, but maybe you will. Guess what I will be cleaning the screen with? I'm going to be using dry sponge. So I need to go a little bit more with the dry sponge because she's like, you can get a little bit more of the dirt off. So I'll use my dry sponge very, very carefully and then sweep it away with a good brush, soft brush. Then I'll be taking Q-tips, as I would say, cotton buds, as they say in this country. I think you call them cotton buds here. Comment down below if you know what I will be putting on that cotton bud or that Q-tip. That's exactly right. Roberta has got it. Saliva. That's right. And do you know, it's better than water. And I've read this as well in a lot of the conservation books that I've read. And I went to a conservation workshop hosted through historic houses. And I asked that question, is saliva okay, when we were talking about paintings on canvas? And they said, absolutely, saliva. So yeah, that is what we tested it. She showed me how much. I had it in my mouth, the cotton swab. I was rolling around, and we did this one section of gold, and it's lit. I was nervous at first, but then it's, that's right, Sally, it's a great enzyme. And then it was really getting it off, and you have to do it, let it sort of, you don't want too much because you don't want to make it wet, and then do it again just to get it off. It's just amazing. It's just amazing. So yes. Now some of you are asking questions here. I've probably missed them because I've just been chatting, and it looks like you're asking, oh, here we go. Do your transcribers feel it's easy or hard to read Alberta's letters? Have you guys been commenting to that? So Rhoda's on, Sally's on, Gail's on, Jennifer's on, Bethany's on, These are the ones I can see right now. Sally's obviously on. So answer those questions, you guys. So if it's, I mean, I'm going to say it's getting easier for everybody because it's getting easier for me. So, and I think you guys are getting the hang of her handwriting, but we've kind of moved into Aunt Josephine's handwriting, which is atrocious. So I think we now all of a sudden have to get, exactly, Laura's right there. And Laura's, sorry, I hope I mentioned you, Laura, that one of the transcribers. It depends on the author, and Laura's right on that. As I just mentioned, like Tontine, Aunt Josephine, Aunt Joe, whatever, how, she's got these different names. They can be really, really tricky. George's are really difficult as well. And Bethany's right as well. Her mom's handwriting, Betty, is awful. So, it's, yeah, George, and of course, Lois is on here as well. Lois and Gail, hello, sisters. George's is awful. I don't know, it's, yeah. I think Vern is right, Joe's is interesting and George's is terrible. And Mary's on as well. Look at all these transcribers. It does get easier over time. Absolutely. Betty's is terrible. Oh, good. Sally can read Tontine's, no problem. I mean, Betty's is terrible. So that's the answer. There you go. You've got all of these guys, amazing transcribers chiming in. I mean, we've done, well over, I think around 2,000 letters, if not more. We've got Daryl now who's he came today. He has been scanning. We're way ahead, which reminds me, Team Celtic, you will be getting your letters today, tonight, my time. So that is on my list. And I have we have a lot of volunteers here at Mapperton. The volunteers give the tour, and I just want to say a huge shout out to them. They give tours of the house when they're open to the public. They work on with the rewilding project. We've got volunteers now in the gardens helping Susie and her team. We're going to have volunteers in the cafe as far as visitors go, so checking in visitors. And I have a new volunteer who also gives house tours named Pat, and she's starting next Wednesday, and she's going to be really helping me organize even more the Munimate room. So there's still bits that I just need to get my head around organized. There's so many photos to go through. There's still so many books. There's so many different letters that need to be put into box files that aren't in box files just yet. And yeah, so that's very, very exciting. What was that, Sally? To Guy, we tried, but it does not work. Was that AI? Yeah. That's an update on that. I had Alberta's great nephew, Hollister, which we call Holly, come and stay over Christmas, and he's still working on the AI, but it's only at like 30 to 40%, and I'm not quite yet convinced that it's worth it, because now that we've gotten so used to Alberta's handwriting, you'd have to go, you couldn't even trust the AI. You still have to go in. It's sort of like, is that an extra step, and does it make it even a little bit messier? Not sure. So yes, and their handwriting, Lorraine, is correct. Lorraine, there we go. Thank you. Also changes with their mood and stress, and that is such a great point, Lorraine, in making, because I know the letters that we've all seen, we can, from Alberta in particular, depending, if she's in a rush, it's going to be much more slanted. If she's in her elderly years, it's much more shaky. Yes, and you're right. They do say that cursive is now an art to read and write. And writing is going out of fashion. Wow. I mean, I think we can definitely find the balance. So yes, Gail, are my screens too fun of a winter scene? Do you know what? The scene is, I don't know if it's winter, Gail. I'm not sure. And it makes me think that it is, because you can see the trees, but the trees are green with full bloom, but then there's sort of the white branches in there, if you notice that. And it's the Korean, I'm going to call them Korean, lovely, beautiful painting. I mean, the paper is just exquisite that they're painted on. That's why it's lasted. That's why the paper restorer told me today, the reason it's lasted so long is because it's just on exquisite. It's on the highest quality paper, probably made from mulberry. and there's people there, and I noticed a cat today. So every time I go back, Gail, and look at it, I'm finding more of the detail. There was a cat, there was somebody sort of sweeping. And so I think it's just really kind of a local scene, if that makes sense. It's people kind of doing, sort of filing in order in one sense. Trees, there's clouds above, but I couldn't even see the making of the clouds until today once I got through the gold and started to clean that. And yes, it could be a birch tree. That's true. Well done, Bruna. Yeah. So look at that and see. I mean, listen, I'd love you guys to come back to me and say, this is, this type of scene, or this is what they're doing here. I think I've been so immersed in the restoration of it and the cleaning and really conservation of it, that I haven't necessarily taken in the scene so much. Great, Gail, excellent. Can you send that? That would be fantastic. And thank you, Lorraine. Remind you to give this video a thumbs up. So I've chatted. So that's what I was going to mention. This is right now I can't find any signatures, but my sister-in-law is putting me in touch with an Asian art expert, and hopefully we can find out more. What I am going to say though, and this is really interesting, when Charlotte, the paper restorer, and I were looking at the backing, it's beautiful, lined with beautiful Japanese or Korean paper. I'm going to say Korean. We found 3 postcards, and as Charlotte quite rightly mentioned, well, they would have just used what they had and used it as their backing. Now, here's my question for you, which I meant to ask that probably about 30 minutes ago. I can make out on the postcard the date stamp, but it says this. I'm going to put it in the chat. It's a stamp, and it says 10/11/5. So we know that Alberta was in Korea in 1910. We know that she was there in May, and do the Japanese or Koreans, is it the reverse? So is that 1910, the 11th of May? I don't know, but that's what the stamp said. And then that would really prove it that it came from 1910. It is the stamp on the postcard. So if somebody could Google that or ask ChatGPT, that would be fantastic. Don't know. That was one of the things I wanted to do before I came online, but I didn't have time to look at that. Yeah, and I think, Amanda, you're right. Is a part of difficulty in transcribing over time, cursive styles have changed. Absolutely. Brilliant. So that's, so we're gonna find out, I think. But if you have any more insight into the 10/11/5, what I was thinking about that was he must have had the screens there, but not put into the screens, if that makes sense. He must have done the painting, and maybe Alberta and George said, we like those, we want to take them away with us, please can you make it into screens? And then he would have already done the painting, and the backing wouldn't have taken so much time. He could have then just put them onto screens, and then Alberta and George shipped them or taken them with them. I'm not sure. What? Is that right, Rona? Is that how they do it? Year first, 1910. I'm going to send you guys all a photo of that, my transcribers, and it will be on Mapperton Live as well. You are kidding me. Oh, see, it's like this incredible mystery that keeps giving and giving and giving. I cannot believe that, everybody. That was my exciting update or find today. Oh my goodness, Rona, that is amazing. Yeah, I'll send you guys the photo. It's 10/11/5. That is it, 1910. And I put the buy me coffee in, thank you. Sorry, I think that might be the wrong one. Let me just delete that. That's my dashboard. Remove 1 second. So let me just get share page, copy link. Here we go, live streaming. Yeah, and they were at Hinchingbrook. That's right, Deborah. Nice to see you, Deborah. Thank you for your brilliant donation. So incredibly kind. They were definitely at Hinchingbrook because she writes that they were in the blue room. So she actually writes that the 3 Korean screens were in the blue room. She mentioned something else in her inventory about another Japanese or Korean or Oriental picture that was in the blue room as well. So when she was writing her inventory, she was stating what rooms they were in so many places. Can you believe it, you guys? That just gave me chills as well. You guys help me. I cannot believe that. Oh my gosh, that was my question, Rhoda and everybody else. Before I went live and I had so much technical stuff, I thought I've got to research this and find out, because we only discovered it today, me and the paper restorer, because we were kind of peeling things back. And I was like, this is strange, we put postcards in here. I knew the postcards were in there. And then I said, but wait, and she said, can you find a date? And I said, well, there's this stamp on there, clearly that it's gone through the post office. And I was like, oh my God, it's 10/11/5. There you go. So the date of our letters, oh yeah, Gail, you're asking that. So the date of the letters that we have is 1910. So we know that that's when she was around. She was in Korea and Japan at that time. It's like solving a mystery online. Yeah. Isn't that much? There were 3 postcards in the back. So what Charlotte will do, once I conserve the front, the 6 screens, if you like, I will take them to Charlotte. I mean, we're months away from that, who will save as much of the backing as she can, but also replace where she can. And she would have to kind of go through those postcards and sort of put them properly. So yeah. We would be able to, and that's important as well. I mean, it would stay there, but getting the pictures of that as well. There is stuff written on the postcards. Yeah, it was like he had maybe he used that for his lining. I mean, that's for his backing. That's what they were using. And there is writing on the back. So it'd be good to get that picture. Might try to get that tomorrow, actually. Anyway. I should probably go. Oh my gosh, I just want to say, Kelly, thank you. You have just, wow. You became a Buy Me a Coffee member. That's so kind. Oh, Kelly, thank you. And thank you to all of you for just watching these videos, watching the ads that come through. That helps. And I stay on longer because the ad revenue that I generate from this video alone will go towards the Peacock Tapestry restoration. And I also just want to say hi to Shelly, who I know is on here as well. And so that's hugely important. And for all of you who have generously donated towards this project, and we do this at Mapperton, we will highlight individual projects that need some, like the 18th century eagles, we're now into the 18th century tapestries. And I just want to say thank you to all of our patrons at Mapperton who also support just the maintenance fund here. So the leaks, the repairs, the stonework, the repointing. I mean, it's constant here. Today we were all locked out of the dining room. I will tell you a quick funny story. So all of a sudden, and I knew it last night when I was leaving the dining room, where the screens are, they're in the alcove. The dining room handle on the inside, there's 3 doors to the dining room. There's one that goes to the amusement room, the hidden door. I locked that. Then there's one door that's locked on the inside. So you have to be inside the dining room to unlock it. That leads you to the entrance hall. And then there's the door that leads to the corridor, which is where the kitchen, there's the corridor there. And that's locked from the outside. So I exited that one, but I noticed that the doorknob was a bit ropey. But I closed the door, locked it. This morning, clearly the door handle from the inside had fallen, so I couldn't get into the dining room at all. I was like, oh my gosh. So we had to unscrew the doorknob, and the rest is history. And then put it back on. But it's just like funny moments like that. Thank you, Deborah. You are wonderful. You just have been so generous. And Just like I was doing for my dissertation, and in particular when we were uncovering bits about Alberta, I was doing lots of lives, and it's easier for me to do lives. You would have noticed this back in the day when I was doing Alberta dissertation lives. It was when I wasn't filming for American Viscountess. When we start to film in April, it gets a little bit tricky for me because I'm traveling, for me to do live. So what that means is I hope to do many, many more of these. And Deborah, always frozen, I just want to say thank you for your lovely comments right there. I'm so lucky to have all of you as part of this community. So again, I just want to say thank you again, patrons, and also I just want to thank you to our transcribers here as well for the Alberta Research Project. They've really helped me solve this mystery as well. And just for all of you, this is a wonderful thing about YouTube, is that it's an amazing community. You can't get this on terrestrial TV, and I don't think you can even get this through like Instagram as much. I just feel that YouTube, and even through Facebook as well, I think I might be live on Facebook as well, it really is this amazing opportunity for us to connect. I can see your comments, I can comment back, we can speak right here on these lives. So thank you. And I just want to say a huge thank you. Right, I need to cook a child's supper. It's now coming up to 8:15. I can't believe that I've gone for an hour. So many of you have a winter pastime listening to lives. I love that, Mary. That is brilliant. Thank you all so much. And I'll keep you posted. Be sure to watch the Mapperton live videos, because there are going to be a lot of these are focused on the screens themselves. So thank you for all your hearts, your emojis, and that's strange that the comments weren't showing on Facebook. Interesting. I don't know why that is. Maybe they don't let you do that on Facebook. I have no idea. But this is actually, Deborah, to be fair, this is the first time. That was a big challenge as well, at least for me. I was able to go live on YouTube and Facebook at the same time. So I have to say, I'm pretty impressed with myself getting 3 cameras. I'm just going to showcase those 3 cameras again. One there, I'm going to say bye to that camera. And then I'm going to say goodbye to that camera. And then I'm going to say goodbye to the center camera, which I used throughout pretty much this entire video. But yeah, anyway, and do comment, let me know if you liked seeing those little snippets of video that I put in. Did you like that? Because I can do more of those as well. I filmed that today, and then I was able to upload it and put it in. I thought it was pretty cool. So let me know if you like that. Oh, thank you guys. You guys are awesome. I still say that word occasionally over here. Okay, I've got to stop, or I could just be here forever and ever and ever. Okay, you do like the snippets. That's what I was waiting to see. Quite fun, right? Just do little, they need to be between 30 seconds and 1 minute, maximum 1 minute. That's what I've decided. And then put them in. Okay, we like the snippets. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna do more of those. Oh, love the snippets. Oh my gosh, thank you. Yes, love the snippets. Okay, we're gonna do more of those. Excellent. Thank you all so much. Ooh, okay, I wish I could stay on longer because I want to do more snippets, but the next live I'm gonna do little snippets. So like if I do the live next week, it could be about the screens, and then I could do snippets on the screens. That's a deal. Yes to snippets. Okay, bye everybody. Have a great day, and I will do more lives.